Hello.
What happened last time that you showed me a choice of game?
Um, Last time you created sentient life through programming and proceeded to give it depression.
And then myself.
And it by proxy yourself, yes.
Yeah. So I'm
So
not
what
gonna
what what's
I'm
what's
gonna make
this
a
one?
rule. I'm not gonna
Okay.
create life.
You can Aw, you don't wanna make magical life.
I don't know if that one's gonna go so well for me IRL.
Did you have to talk to somebody after last time?
I probably should have.
All right, Kai. Today we're returning to the choice of games again by Mr. Kevin Gold. Great author from last time. He did real good. And today we're doing choice of magics. No robots here. Well, no sci-fi robots. This one's all about magic in a land of fantasy. Now, judging from your experience last time, what do you expect to happen this time?
Uh, I'm probably gonna be like having to deal with a weird magic school counselor that tells me that my magic sucks and I'm gonna have to make my own magic and prove him wrong. And then there's gonna be a
Mhm.
war with like the dwarves or something, and I'm gonna get conscripted.
All right, let's get started then.
Oh, here we go. I got a lot of reading to do. Okay.
Yeah, and you're reading the first part of this because I'm eating lunch.
So, Chapter 1, The Lost Academy. It's not very lost if I found it. You push yourself out the window of an ancient classroom clutching a musty tome of Vivamancy magic, and land with a roll on the cobblestone path below. Above you, it seems to be night, and you're momentarily confused. How are you seeing stars when stars have been obscured by clouds for over 2,000 years? But then you realize the twinkling lights must be flecks of quartz in the rocky ceiling above, reflecting the light of the magical street lamps below. Those street lamps continue to shine even when the neighbor's magic pulled this academy underground. They shone underground, while above ground, Abraxas walked the earth and declared that magic was forbidden. They illuminated this ancient place of learning, while everywhere else, wizards were put to the sword. You still can't believe your luck in finding this academy before the church did. When you and Tal began following her bounty and a great burrowing worm, you had no idea it would burrow all the way to the sunken academy and its long buried treasure. Tal slew the worm and its final thrashes collapsed the tunnel behind you. But apparently, not before an inquisitor followed you inside as well. He must have been shadowing you until you got your hands on this tome of magic, whereupon he shouted that you were under arrest. And here you are, more or less. You are under arrest for crimes against the Skyrim. You have no idea how the Inquisitor found you in the first place. Sometimes the Church has an uncanny knack for knowing things. You're not a wizard yet, but you're not sure the Inquisitor cares about this technicality. He probably wants you dead. Tal prepares to jump from the same second floor window you did. Her fingers move to her eye patch. Ooh, she has an eye patch. As if she's worried she will misjudge the distance. She hesitates a moment too long, and the Inquisitor's crossbow bolt lodges itself in her leg. Tal grunts in pain, leaps forward with her good leg, and lands ungracefully, faltering because of the wound. Are you alright? You ask her. Meh. Gritting her teeth, Tal jerks the bolt out from between the pieces of her black leather armor, ignoring the trickle of blood that results. I'm fine, but I might have a little trouble climbing up to that open window over there, which is too bad because it seems like our best escape route. She nods to the tome in your hands. Anything in there that can help? I'm certain of it, you say eagerly. You open up the Prefata Vivamancy, or Introductions to Vivamancy, the tome that you managed to peruse a bit before the Inquisitor showed up. You recall the warning in the book's preface. The magic of life may have unintended consequences. Well, isn't that true of everything in life? Do I heal the wound, running to the ancient duel ground ahead where we can make our stand? Sprout wings to take her to a high dorm window? Or part the wooden wall of the building next to us, dash inside and reseal? I'm gonna be honest, sprouting wings sounds real cool.
Remember what the warning said too.
Pshaw!
All right. I'm good to read now, by the way.
I'm gonna turn into a bird IRL.
Yeah, you're just gonna turn into a bird.
Um, hmm. But actually, I don't know. These are all good ideas. And this is probably going to be very important for what I do later on down the line.
Everything
See,
matters.
if I heal her leg, I feel like that's going to lead me down a path of I'm going to be like some kind of saint. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a saint.
Be fair, the Saints are trying to kill you right now,
Yeah,
apparently.
fuck that. I don't want. Fuck the people. Fuck them people.
Also, that assumes that you two can take the Inquisitor.
Yeah. I could sprouting wings is cool, where something is glittering. I mean, or I can just part the wooden wall of the building next to us and reseal it. I'm gonna go with the wings.
You go for the wings, alright.
Something's glittering. I think I can grow wings and carry you, you telltale. Well, oh, yes, you're reading now, right?
Yeah, you keep going. You're fine.
One moment. That's
Really? Tal says, clearly surprised you could have learned to do such a thing in such a short time. But you concentrate instead on the music of nature, splaying your fingers towards the ground and willing the power of life to flow through you. The smell of pine needles fills the air as a shaft of light connects your hand to the ground. In the light, you can see tiny living motes wriggling their way toward your hand. Your hand begins to glow red, and you urge its warmth to spread up your back and behind your shoulder blades, creating an expectant tingling. You quickly flip to the page of your tome where you read about this transformation spell, and then mutter the ancient words.
Aviana, Eroba, Volanta, Pluma.
Somehow this one's already nerdier than the last
I'm
one.
sure that's Latin for some bullshit. Probably just Latin for up, up, and away.
Immense pain courses through your back as two giant feathery wings erupt from behind your shoulder blades. You feel vaguely queasy as the spell cannibalizes your bones and hair to create these new appendages. With your wings fully extended, the transformation ends. Tao can hardly contain her astonishment. Trying to flap the wings feels a little like trying to wiggle your ears when you don't know how. But when you get the wings to move, you're surprised at the force at which you are lifted. Your body is much lighter now. Experimentally, you flap a bit more and you are airborne. You giggle. You're flying. Gain some vivomancy. In the future, do you want to know when your skills change, as I mentioned, blah blah blah? Do you want to display stat changes?
Yes. I don't know what I'll do if I don't know these changes. Also, I don't like the idea of my hair receding. I'm fine with my bones being hollow, but I'm getting old.
Your hair recedes to make feathers.
Am I bald now? Alright.
Hey, wait for me! Tal says, grabbing your leg. You quickly discover that while Tal is quite slender, she is nevertheless heavier than you expect. You flap your wings, fruitlessly for a few moments, but the vivomancy magic is still coursing through you. So you urge a little more mass to go into your wing muscles, and that's enough. You lift off, carrying Tal. A man in a white tabard appears in the window you came from, training a crossbow on Tal. Tal raises an arm to guard her face. The Inquisitor fires, and the bolt ricochets off Tal's bracer. Yeah, he's a good shot. Before the man can reload, you and Tal land inside the ancient dorm room. Woo! Tal says, and when you turn to look around, she gets a mouthful of wing. Okay, maybe you could get rid of the giant wings now. I can't even see what's in here. Somewhat reluctantly, you will your transformation to reverse itself. It's less painful this time around, or perhaps you've just acclimated to it. But it must have appeared painful because Tal looks at you in concern. Are you alright? She says. You say, panting. You think you somehow lost some mass in the process of growing and losing the wings. Lost fighting, gained subtlety. Brave of you to be your own test subject, Tal says. I thought you told me earlier that vivomancy could have unintended effects.
So, I mean, the downside's exaggerated, or if something went wrong with the healing, I'm a little disappointed I didn't sprout a third arm, but having wings is pretty fun. Yeah, I don't want... if I healed her and then she suddenly turns into like a super mutant, that would have been,
You accidentally just turned her into the Hulk.
Yeah.
Tal grins. Well, thanks. Increased Tal relationship, increased empathy. There's a lot of stats in this game, by the way. Do you want to look at the stats screen real quick?
Oh yeah, let's take a look at our stats just before we get into this. Nameless
You got
protagonist.
So you got different kinds of magic.
So I got Vivamancy. Ancient history, bad. Fighting, bad. Subtlety, decent. Charisma, bad. And my
Personality.
empathy is up.
Relationships.
I feel like this is gonna go down really, really fast.
You have adoration and vilification within the kingdom.
Whether people love me or hate me, I have 100 gold and a sword that I'm probably never going to use.
You have no students. You have no pets. Nobody is dead.
Yet.
And then the plot points. Yeah, there's a lot more stats in here than the last one. You congratulate yourself on having read Tal properly. A normal wound is something she understands and can live with. The touch of Vivamancy, on the other hand, would probably spook her long after the wound had healed. Tal lights a torch. At first, you think the dormitory room once belonged to a woman, judging from the rotting dresses in the closet, but the dresses seemed large in their shoulders, and you recall tales of some men wearing feminine clothing in the ancient days. Regardless of biology, this student has clearly put effort into looking feminine and fabulous, judging from the extensive cosmetic workstation. Maybe I should get ready for our date with the Inquisitor, Tal says, wryly regarding the cosmetic station. You aren't sure whether Tal has ever used cosmetics in her life. Her hair turned silvery gray at a young age, and she refused to dye it. She keeps it in a short ponytail, probably lopping it off with a sword when it gets too long. Her pronounced cheekbones have a few scars from fights with monsters, but she has never applied any cosmetics to conceal them. You're not even certain a dress has ever graced her wiry frame. You know that Tal could put more effort into her appearance, but you're also fairly sure she doesn't give a damn. Maybe Tal figures her appearance is a lost cause, since she has to wear an eye patch. You think she'd be wrong about it, but you two don't talk about it. What about you? What do you look like?
Am I bookish and spectacled, rugged and adventurous, a snappy dresser, popular about town? I dress in all black. This is the question. Am I going to be playing me or someone that isn't me? Because I played me last time, and that didn't end well.
You know, Kai, I think you should play you still.
Still me? Okay, bookish and
I still think you should. This is a different world. Different world.
Okay, bookish
Your choices can be more raw when it's you.
Bookish and spectacled it probably is then, because I'm definitely not rugged and adventurous, and I do not dress in all black, and I'm going to assume I'm not popular
you live life
about
in hoodies.
Town. So,
you do not dress. You do not a snappy dresser. You do live life in hoodies.
Yeah. So there we go.
Yes, you're a bit won from spending so much time indoors reading, and a bit slight from spending all your money on books instead of snacks. Gained ancient history, but you do possess an item that stands out a bit. What is that?
A giant's black floppy hat to go with my black robes. I dress like a fairytale witch. Black hat, black dress. A hat with a big jaunty feather. Oh, that's very bard-like. A shimmering... cute, clever skirts I stitched myself, a brilliant green dress, and an ancient pendant, both from my grandmother. I actually would probably go with this. Or this, but...
Hey, I like the musketeer hat.
Yeah, but... I'm trying to think. Let's go with the hat. Let's go with the hat.
You're rather proud of your jaunty look, especially your attention-grabbing...
Automation!
What?
Automation. Just like the robots.
Which you fashioned yourself. Hey, you made the hat yourself. Occasionally, wags have joked that the giant peacock feather in your hat might pose a danger in a lightning storm. But you've heard that ancient wizards actually wanted to be struck by lightning in order to cast automation spells. So, the supposed drawback has not deterred your debonair style. Gained automation, gained charisma. A bright yellow shirt, which you also sewed yourself, completes your look. Gained charisma, gained charisma. You had a lot of charisma.
Charismatic.
You are a bard now.
King. You may call me king. Oh, the monarch's pretty cool, but king? Oh, that's a lot, okay.
Alright. In the dormitory room, your eye is drawn to the past student's bookshelf, the first thing the Church Inquisitor would destroy if he were left alone in the room. You scan the unintelligible titles of the volumes until one catches your eye, Introduction to Glamour. What are you doing? Tal says from the window. He's climbing up. We should get out of here. Tal doesn't know much about magic. She doesn't know how rare this book is. You've never found even one introductory text about magic before, much less two in one day. It must be because this magic academy has never been discovered by the church. And while you could just grab the book and run, the magic of charming people may be exactly what you need right now.
Give me a moment.
You say.
Try to delay him.
Tal makes an exasperated sound, but you ignore her and quickly skim the first chapter of the book. Glamour magic appears to work like vivimancy, but the power source is the self instead of nature. There appears to be only one spell in the book, a spell that makes a person incredibly charming and persuasive. Most of the book is devoted to the exploration of the ethical issues and negative ramifications of this spell. Well, no time for that. Tal shouts a warning. You look up from your reading and see the Inquisitor leap into the room from the windowsill. Sword drawn, Tal warily circles the Inquisitor, who has drawn a mace. With your arms crossed on your chest, you draw power from within. You shine with a golden aura, and you smell something sweet like cherry pie. Good luck with that.
Palautia, Omnis, Cleos, Venenum.
The Inquisitor seems unable to look away from you. Beneath his handlebar mustache, his mouth parts in awe.
Please don't try to harm us.
You tell him, and he nods slightly. Gained glamour. You spare a glance for Tal. Though she had drawn her sword, she warily sheathes it now. I am so sorry to intrude, says the Inquisitor. If there is anything I can do to make it up to you.
Were you sent specifically to catch us?
You ask the Inquisitor.
And did you know about this place?
The Inquisitor shakes his head. The Hierophant had a vision of you exploring this place and thought it was the beginning of something important. Nobody knew who you were. I was just told to try to uncover this old academy or wait for you to show up, whichever came first. I was digging for a month with no progress on the other side of the ridge until you showed up chasing that tunneling worm, so I appreciate the relief. His look grows darker, but magic is forbidden. If the Hierophant knew you were a wizard, she'd have ordered your capture like anybody else. When Inquisitors capture magic users or shapeshifters, shipshitters, those people are typically never heard from again. Most people assume they're quietly executed. The church official line is that they will administer justice as their duty to the kingdom, and the laws on the books certainly dictate death for wizards and shapeshifters. Hierophant Elizabeth is known to be quite by the book. If anything you've heard about her is true, you doubt she would make any kind of exception for you just because of an intriguing vision. But you decide to ask the Inquisitor's opinion.
If you did capture me, would I be executed?
You ask. Inquisitors just deliver the wizards, the Inquisitor says, but I don't think so. He doesn't know. Interesting.
Well, I have new instructions for you. So, do I have him explore and fight any monsters he encounters, have him leave and never report what he's seen here, take his stuff, tie him up, and come back for him later? Have him sit still so I can practice turning people into tortoises? I feel like actually it would probably be better if we do this, just because that way... Here, if he dies fighting the monsters, they'll send more people. If we tie him up, I'd feel guilty. And then I don't want to turn him into a tortoise. So this one, it's just like, if he reports and nothing happened, like we never showed up, that might get the best result for me. You've stumbled upon a very important secret mission.
You tell the Inquisitor.
You must leave this place and never report it to anyone, not even to Hierophant.
Oh, says the Inquisitor, bowing low in obedience. So very sorry, I shall leave post-haste. He climbs out the window and lets himself hang over the other side. You hear a pained yelp from the Inquisitor as he lands on the ground below, but he seems to keep going. Are you sure he's not going to report us? Tal asks. You shrug.
No, but the other options just seem cruel.
Increased empathy. You do worry that you may see more Inquisitors when you return to Akriton, but you suppose you'll deal with that problem when you're above ground.
Yeah.
As she speaks to you, you notice that Tal doesn't seem quite so strongly affected by the magic as the Inquisitor. Perhaps she has a stronger will. You read something about that briefly in the book, but whether it's because the Inquisitor has been taken care of or because of the magic, Tal is smiling more now. How do you feel about this attention?
I prefer men. I don't have romantic feelings of any kind. Of any kind. I'm open to romance. I'm Tal's just a good friend right now. I don't ever want to have sex. Alright, yeah, let's just do this, sure. Right now, all of them are, yeah, that's fine. Let's just stick with that. Do I see charming?
You ask Tal.
Attractive?
Tal shakes her head as if to clear it. Yeah, well, sorry. Don't do that around the other ladies, alright? Not fair,
No, of course.
you say. You briefly search the dorm room you're in. You don't find much else of interest besides the clothing and some assorted devices in the students' drawers that you don't understand. But you notice that the students' sequined clothing seems to glow a little more brightly when you stand nearby, now that you have a glamour up. You'd think the students' clothes are enchanted to heighten the effects of glamour magic. Now that you're no longer in danger, you have time to change into some new clothing. The tunics seem to have auras as strong as the dresses, and they look a little more practical for adventuring.
Do I take it and not change into it? Put on one of the clothes student that. Bulky and conspicuous magical items I won't use, no thanks. I'm gonna take it, not change into it right now. I think that's the safe play. I'm really just going into this thinking if people see me in this, I'm going to get executed, and they're gonna call guards and shit. I'll keep playing safe for now.
Yeah, that's fair. You take a rainbow-hued glittering sequined shirt. Could be useful, you guess. You and Tal cautiously make your way out of the dorm room, into a corridor with doors leading to other dorm rooms on either side. All the other dorm rooms seem somewhat sparsely decorated. You think perhaps when this magic academy was pulled underground by the neighbors' magic, the students had already been evacuated. 2,000 years ago, this academy must have been very close to the eastern front of the Great War, and likely a target for the neighbors' conquest.
Okay, wait, hold up. They're capitalizing neighbors. That's a group of people. That's not just people next door.
Yep, that is a faction.
Okay. Good to know.
It's just by pulling around, just by the neighbors, the guys that just live next door.
Well, yeah. When I first saw it, I was like, "That's weird." They just have a neighboring academy that did it. Like, no, I guess it's just a kingdom called the Neighbors or something.
From the Great War, the neighbors wanted to conquer. As you're exploring, your glamour dissipates. You feel a retching pain in your stomach. This must be the fabled rot that comes from glamour magic. Are you okay? Tal asks, putting a hand on your shoulder.
Yeah, fine.
You say.
I just probably shouldn't use that magic too much. It can kill if it's overused.
Ugh, Tal says in sympathy. The pain passes.
I'm fine now. Let's keep exploring.
Alright. Most of the students' dorm rooms have little of interest. Their textbooks too advanced or abstract for you to make much sense of it, but you hit the jackpot in one of the rooms at the end of the corridor. The room you find contains a wardrobe filled with black robes and dresses, a jewelry box full of silver, skull-shaped earrings, a table devoted to some kind of war game involving miniature pewter airships, dragons, and wizards, forever paused mid-game, and most importantly, a tome titled Nihilus Magia Pratique, or Practical Negation Magic.
Jackpot!
You exclaim. Are these guys playing fantasy Risk, essentially?
I guess so.
It sounds like it. Also, you found a goth's closet.
I sure did.
You exclaim to Tal, who is examining the student's skull-themed jewelry. You show her you're fine, and she wrinkles her nose at you. Ugh, really? Tal says. Don't we have enough clouds of doom still blowing around the countryside?
I thought you'd be more excited.
You say.
Think about the monsters. They don't stand a chance.
Okay, are you catching on that every kind of magic has a consequence in this game?
Maybe it's really, really good thing that I don't get a familiar, because I feel like they're just going to break free and go on a rampage.
Yeah, but neither do the shepherds who get caught in these death clouds blowing around the plains, Tal says. Try not to destroy the world like the ancients did, okay? She puts on the silver skull necklace in her hands, and if the Dark Sun starts telling you to do things...
It's a ball of energy. You can't talk.
Please don't listen. Despite Tal's admonitions, don't know what that word means, you skim the beginning of the negation text, learning in process how to hurl a ball of deadly negative energy. It seems very much like your Vivimancy and Glamour spells, but the magic requires drawing on the Dark Sun at the heart of the earth. It sounds interesting.
When it said negation magic, my brain went to, canceling other actions? No, this means negating their life.
Yeah. So, do you love how, like, for so far, Vivomancy draws on nature and, it kind of just rearranges life. Um, Glamour gives you the rot, which I don't really understand, but I guess it's pulling, pulling more of yourself out so your life kind of shortens a little bit, sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick
Um,
away from that.
and Negation just draws on the Earth's core, because nothing bad can come from that.
So these are some real winners we have here. I know none of them aren't gonna have consequences, but I'm really trying to think of one that I'm fine with the consequences. Because so far it's like,
It's
am I-
Vivomancy so far.
that's not good. Rearranging
Also-
life is difficult.
Well, so far Vivomancy doesn't take anything; it just rearranges.
Yeah, well, I did lose my strength from my last one.
That's true, but you also gain stealthiness. Anyways,
We were.
it sounds interesting. You're somewhat eager to try it out. Tal's right though. Since every negation spell leaves behind a cloud of dangerous negative residue, you probably shouldn't experiment with it until you have to. They leave a death cloud everywhere you cast a negation spell.
I think they'll know when I do it.
Eyeing the student's very black wardrobe, you suspect those robes are enchanted to make negation magic more powerful, just as the glamour student's clothing enhances glamour magic.
Oh, okay. I'm really gonna have to make a choice here, huh? All right.
Hey, you never know. Maybe it negates the side effects or something.
It might. I gotta be real. I really just want to take a wide berth away from negation magic.
Negation magic
one's-
essentially seems to be dark magic.
Yeah, this one scares me the most. I'm just gonna leave it. I was
This
fine
one's
taking. Yeah,
This one's the nuclear bomb of spells.
I was fine taking the other one because I was like, you know what, the glamour stuff, I could, yeah, glamour, whatever. Negation
swing
is
that.
like,
I mean, it seems like the rot thing isn't too bad as long as you don't do it frequently.
yeah.
You just as soon only take useful magic items, and these bulky black robes don't quite cut it. Besides, you don't want anybody to think you're a negation cultist. Increased caution.
Nice.
You briefly search the other dorm rooms, but they appear to have been mostly cleared out. Just barren mattresses and empty closets and bookshelves. Your two options for proceeding are either a window at one end of the hallway or a spiral staircase at the other end. Looking through the window, you see a giant library, the bookshelves illuminated with the same dusty globes that illuminate your present corridor. Amazing, you think. Look at all that magic. All that lost knowledge. You're on the second story, so it would be a bit of a drop, but you think it would be absolutely worth risking a dangerous fall for all that knowledge. You could try your new negation magic to blow up the window, although you almost certainly would suffer some negation effects, or negative effects from the toxic cloud it left behind. You could go down the spiral stairs and hope it found some other way into this library, or you could use Vivomancy to gain the ability to burrow. If you burrow straight down, you might find another entrance to the library there.
Just jump through the glass.
Didn't you just lose some weight from Vivomancy?
Yeah, it seems like this isn't gonna work even if I wanted to.
You're just gonna bounce off.
I'm gonna be honest, this seems like the only way that I'm gonna get through this is with the Vivomancy. Without blasting a fucking hole in...
Will you end this as a druid?
Maybe. I want to take the stairs, but I feel like it's not gonna lead me to the library. That's my only, like, issue.
Mm-hmm.
And again... I mean, Tal
You could
can't...
just shoot it with a magic gun.
Well, I was just gonna say, then again, Tal can't jump out the window like I can, so I might as well take the stairs.
I was also far more athletic than you, though. And if you burrow, Tal can just follow you.
That's true. Let's burrow then.
Go ahead.
Alright, if the layout is almost the same on the floor below us, then there might be a door there instead of a window.
You suggest to Tal. Seems reasonable, Tal says. So, the stairs?
No!
You say, and you begin to pull energy from the wood of the academy. Light beams alive with tiny wriggling motes spring from the walls of the building and shine on your hands. The energy smells earthy, with a hint of fresh-cut grass.
Fosordia, Manus!
You shout. Your hands are racked with pain as they grow large, muscled, and slightly shovel-shaped.
That's gross.
Your nails grow 3 inches long and become incredibly thick. You just turn into a drill burr.
Nasty.
The pain ceases as soon as it began, and you stop to admire your giant mole-like hands. Gain Vivomancy. Kind of frightening, really, Tal says, looking at your long claws. It's nightmarish. You shrug and get to digging through the wooden floor, which yields more easily than you expected. It has been rotting for thousands of years. Your new form also gives you a lingering desire to chuck it all and hide underground. Gain subtlety. Let you be.
Alright.
You tear through the wood until you finally break through to the corridor below. You can see that the corridor ends in a door with a copper plaque above it all that says Bibliovultus. That seemed relatively painless, Tal says.
Relatively.
You say, recalling the agony of the transformation. You both drop down into the corridor, but a shrill whinny informs you that you are not alone.
Yeah, I'm feeling like maybe I should have taken the stairs.
Hey, you have shovel hands and a need to hide underground now. Looking down the corridor behind you, you are surprised to see a six-legged black horse of the kind called a nightmare. It gives a startled whinny that causes it to breathe a gout of flame, and it turns toward you. Hey, you fought a nightmare in my improv game.
Ah, right.
You have no idea how this monster could have gotten down here. Its kind must have been breeding in this sunken academy for 2,000 years. The ancients once rode them as steeds, luxury mounts for nobles who had the time to travel by land instead of airship. Their fire breathing was once a gentle flame that gave natural light at night, an ability that somehow got out of control over generations. Last time a wild one came near your town of Ackerton, 3 houses burned down.
Ah.
A ways behind the nightmare is the stairwell that you could have taken to get here.
Uh-huh.
To your left are more dorm room doors. To your right are a row of stable doors. Soft neighs suggest this nightmare is not alone. There must be a magical food trough nearby that has fed generations of nightmares. You could ignore this nightmare and dash into the library. The nightmare lowers its head and tenses as if about to charge.
Let's just get to the library. Let's just run.
Trying really hard not to shoot anything, huh?
I don't like negation magic. Let's just leave.
I did do a playthrough of this going full master of negation magic, and I'll tell you what happened after.
Oh no, okay.
You and Tal dash through the library door, and once you're on the other side, you push a lightly stocked bookshelf in front of it for good measure. You hear a loud thump come from the other side, then another, but the barricade holds.
Oh, here we go. This is another one. Okay.
Our hometown of Ackerton has no library. In fact, you don't think there is a public library in the whole kingdom of Erinia. When you were young, the word library had a similar feel to the words hoard or utopia. A cache of books free for the taking was too good to be true. Now you're in a library, and it's wonderful. The rows of books may well contain all the knowledge you have ever craved. The musty smell of the old books is intoxicating. And these are not just any books. Browsing the titles, it is clear that these are tomes of magic, delicious, forbidden knowledge ripe for the learning. The books glow slightly purple. You suspect this is an enchantment of negation that zaps dust and fungus before it can accrue.
Thank you, mother.
You whisper. Your mother insisted on teaching you the language of the ancients herself when you were young, as her mother taught her, even though the family had never been nobility. You're not sure your mother would approve of the subject matter here, but you're grateful nonetheless. Looks like it's your lucky day, Tal murmurs, admiring the rows upon rows of books.
Yours too, if you want.
You say. Not if you're suggesting learning magic, Tal says. You're way braver than I am when it comes to messing with that stuff. Mind if I take some books that just look expensive and mostly not cursed?
Sure.
You say. Although you know whichever books she picks, it will pain you to find that she has sold them. You hunt for primers in the schools of magic you don't have books for yet, divination and automation. The hemispherical magical lights above you are dimmed by dust and long-dead bugs, making it somewhat difficult to read the titles. Hey, why is there a humor section in the middle of the other magic? Tal calls out from a different aisle. Is that a joke?
I remember hearing somewhere that the ancients considered it a kind of magic.
You call back.
Don't remember why.
The jokes are a kind of magic, Kai.
They sure are.
Aspirationally, you also pick up a book called Magilla Magia. Great Magic. Magali... No, is Magali...
Magia.
Magali Magia, sure. The
Great.
contents are unintelligible besides the introduction, which promises a cutting-edge look at how to perform incredibly powerful magic. The rest of the book may be too esoteric for you now, but you hope to unlock its secrets with time.
Oh, there's a lot of options. Okay.
You could spend hours in this library, you think, and why not? For all you know, there was only one Inquisitor pursuing you. But then again, for all you know, more Inquisitors are even now dousing the Academy's wooden buildings with oil and striking a spark. There's no reason the Hierophant could not have sent another Inquisitor, or two, or three. You best not linger over much. As you peruse the books, you notice that an author's name is often more prominent than the bland title of whatever they wrote. You wonder whether your name will survive 2,000 years and what you would be known for if it did. What is your first name? Names that are longer or 3 letters are as seen as a little pretentious in your hometown of Ackerton, though the urban elites of Idra don't see it that way.
Something else. Time to make my own name. Ooh.
You're not Barbex, Cordell, Ayla, Fu, Falar, Ori, Kook, Sal, Tam, Ve, Vix, Zig.
Anything else seems a little presumptuous. Sounds like I'm going to be presumptuous because, actually, wait, my name does have 3 letters, but I'm going to be a little presumptuous.
Okay.
I could just go like this for my stream name.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Sure, that's what I usually do.
I love how the longer than three letters thing is like basically you're from the nobility areas. You're pretentious. Your name's Fishy.
Yeah. Subtle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My father's name.
In your society, before you register for a profession, you are the son of Lon. You are called Lonson.
So basically it's gonna be this followed by son. So it could be Tamson, Salson, Cookson, Orson, Larson.
Larson.
Well, I mean,
doesn't do arson.
There we go. I'm Fishy Larson. Done it.
God. Fishy Larson. Oh my god.
This is the starts to a fantastic tale.
I just want Fishy Larson. Why does that go together so well?
Sounds like a Phoenix Wright villain.
It seems like the first villain that you encounter. You suppose it will never appear on the back of a book because you'll choose a professional name before then. Wizard Fishy? Magician Fishy? At the moment, it all sounds unusual and awkward, and you're not even sure Mayor Koss would allow it.
You think they'll tell our tale in some musty books like this one day?
You call out to Tal, who is exploring a different aisle. I don't know. What's the tale? Tal shouts back.
Do we save the kingdom of Erinia, bring back magic to the kingdom of Erinia, or start a revolution and take over?
This is very escalating.
Let's go save. You know what? Let's go bring back magic.
I feel like playing the previous game has made you more hesitant.
It sure has. It sure fucking has.
Because you like blasted through the decisions in the beginning of the last
actually
game.
matter a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying to not be a saint, but I still want to help. Let's just go with that. Save the kingdom.
Yeah, Tal replies. The queen's abducted by the neighbors or something, and we come to her rescue.
No need to get fanciful with the neighbors bit.
You say.
There are plenty of people threatening Queen Thekla, right in Edra. The capital's crawling with villainous intrigue.
From what I've heard, Queen Thekla can intrigue fine on her own, Tal says. Maybe she sets up her own capture as a test or something, to see if the Hierophant tries to take over in her absence. You hate to admit it, but Tal might be better at coming up with plots than you.
Okay, so, let's say the church does take over in the Queen's stead. We return to Queen Ezra, reach the palace, and
everybody agrees Noodles would make a better ruler than either of those old biddies, Tal says. Our purple stuffed monkey, the aforementioned Noodles, peeks his head around the corner. Tal wiggles the monkey's arms. I'll make the best ruler. Vote for me! Noodles, that's not how... That's not how a monarchy works. Well, that's how a monkeyarchy
My
works,
fucking god. I don't think that the queen's that old.
you say. Oh, Tal says. I thought she was old.
I think she's just in her 30s or something.
So kind of old, Tal says. You think she's only half joking, even though both of you are your mid-20s. 30 still seems far away.
Anyway, I thought the point was that we would save the day.
Oh, barks a laugh. Yeah, well, I've always known you to cause more trouble than you solve, but it's a nice thought.
If you think that, then why bring me along?
Because being around somebody like that is fun, Tal says with a grin. And here we are.
Neat. Relationship and optimism went up.
After a bit of hunting, you find introductory text for divination and automation. That makes a total of 6 thick books, one for each school, plus the tome of advanced magic called the Magila Magaya. I'm going to change that name every time I say it. You can barely you can barely carry them all. You suppose you'll have to come back with a mule or something. While Tal is busy searching for books that look expensive, you can't wait to try some of this new magic. Divination sounds promising. You recall the main drawback of divination is that it reveals some of your own information to whomever you scry on. That's not that bad. If you scry on a thing instead, someone associated with that thing will learn something about you. Perhaps the thing's guardian or its creator, or someone very interested in possessing it. What would you like to find out with divination?
Okay. So where's the most valuable object in these ruins? Is there a potential ally here in these ruins? What might we most like to avoid in these ruins? As much as I'd... Yeah, I'm just gonna not do that one. I'm sure this is just gonna reveal to me a monster, but I don't want a monster breaking down the library door and starting to kill me.
I was about to say I wouldn't reveal you to the monster as well.
That's what I'm trying to avoid. So let's go with valuable object.
Whatever the most valuable object of the ruin is, you're determined to go find it. Increased optimism. You place your left thumb and forefinger on your temples and hold up your right hand, displaying your fingers, willing your senses to expand. You recite. Oh, good luck with this one.
Mysterian nomai. Pleonix. Nocia Exanthus.
Nailed it. Imagine you're learning magic and you just, okay, Kai, I want you to think about this. You're like reciting a spell, and if you just mispronounce something and you stop halfway, are you just terrified at that point?
It's like, oh, fuck. Imagine if you're trying to cast fireball and you're like, shit. Fireball.
Yeah, you're like, please don't do anything. Please don't do anything. Please don't do anything.
I'd rather nothing happen than something happen at this point.
You see a vision of a giant cavern containing a dragon curled around an ancient airship. You've never seen an airship before, but you can tell that from its aerodynamic metal hull, flat on the bottom and undoubtedly heavy, that this was never a ship meant to sail through water. The sleeping dragon curled about the crow's nest is massive and ancient, the size of a nice 2-story house, and its green scales look brittle and ridden with fungus and rot. Your view rises above the crow's nest of the airship, and you can see it holds a real nest with mottled eggs inside, tiny compared to the dragon that laid them, but each as large as your head. The view shifts to the sleeping dragon, then back to the airship.
I want a pet dragon. Fuck what I said about it burning down the town. I want a pet dragon, Parker.
I love how the instant you are presented with dragon egg, that whole thing about not getting some kind of familiar pet is out the window.
No, we're doing this.
Each, it seems, is the most valuable treasure of the Academy in its own way, but the dragon probably cannot be tamed, and the airship is probably broken. And you're unsure whether the divination is indicating the eggs are valuable on the open market or just valuable to the dragon. You have learned that ambiguity in divination's goals may result in ambiguous visions. What is value? The hypothetical sale price, the realistic potential for profit, or the worth of some individual? How esoteric. As the vision fades, you think that you've learned a little more about how divination works. Cane divination. You search the library for a tome that seems likely to help you repair the airship and a book about a life cycle of dragons. Then you call Tal over and tell her about your visions. She agrees that this old area would be worth finding.
I haven't gained nullification yet.
Negation.
Negation.
It's because you don't use it ever.
No.
You basically, it's literally, ironic because of the music we're playing, it's the Skyrim effect of the more you use things, the better you get at them.
Yeah.